Welcome, friends. You have summoned me to show you around these walls which have seen many changes, which I, the spirit of Chillington Manor, have watched for centuries. The history of my manor stretches back over 700 years. Today, the buildings contain wonderful objects and are called Maidstone Museum. I do enjoy having the museum people here, but it was not always thus. Together we will unravel the story of these walls. Come, let us take a tour of Chillington Manor through the last century to discover the generosity of local people, to learn of the bombing which damaged walls, and to the first nod to the comfort of ladies. On our last journey, I showed you the many new buildings put up by the Victorian curators of the museum. We saw how the Tudor wings were demolished and replaced. We visited the new chapel and ventured up the observatory and admired the newly planted Brenchley Gardens. But the desire to improve the museum didn't stop there. Samuel Bentliff was a kindly man, honouring his dead brother George by providing a new building to share the art treasures he'd collected. The most exciting event that I hovered around was at the opening of this Bentliff wing in 1890. The commemorative pamphlet said, "Seldom has the Manor House of Chillington been the scene of such a festive gathering, when a large and fashionable company assembled within the time-honoured walls of the ancient pile." I'm not sure how I feel about being described as an ancient pile, but I do know that 1,000 people cram these walls enjoying music and food. This is the museum's research library, holding reference books still today, and above is the room dedicated to art. The brothers' likenesses have greeted me every day for 130 years. Gentlemen both.
Morning.
Morning, with a fortune amassed in the leather and footwear trade. I do love a new pair of shoes. Through here is another new addition, built some 25 years after to join onto the Bentliffs' generous bequest. Lord Bearsted paid for this wing to house collections which his own son and wife had given to the museum. Lady Bearsted had a passion for prints by Baxter, whose new printing process brought about quality art reproduced for the masses, while son Walter's passion was for Japanese art, collected on his travels in that country. How I enjoyed watching the opening ceremony with the Japanese ambassador here, in my manor. And now off we go to the other side of the museum. This way. Keep up. We made it. Another building was added to this western end of the museum in 1899. A new library to hold books of all kinds for all the people of the town to borrow. Novels by Rider Haggard which thrilled, works by Lewis Carroll which puzzled, and the lovely Miss Potter's animal drawings in small books for small hands. Today the museum people, how I do enjoy having them here, have filled these rooms with costumes. Oh, rather me. And dinosaurs. They are no longer hushed, but ring with visitors' chatter. Hello, Rex. Heavens, I can hear the drone of a plane. Let's wait here while it passes. I have been nervous ever since the day in 1940 when bombs fell all around here. The townspeople know it as Black Friday. I sometimes visit the gallery downstairs to look upon the faces of those who sadly perished. My manor house escaped aside from a few cracks, but the gatehouse to Mr. Brenchley's garden was mightily damaged. It was pulled down and never replaced. Now, on we go. Keep up. Well done. Phew. I was very pleased with the next installation at the museum. A women's convenience, a ladies' loo. The philanthropists who provided for so many new spaces, their architects and the curators were all men. Sadly, our many female visitors could never tarry for any length of time in case nature called. In 1942, the first toilet was installed for them. And what an encouragement it was for them to bring their children too. Back in a mo. How things had changed. exactly 60 years before gentlemen were allowed, on this occasion, to bring their wife. Can you smell burning? That's something else that makes me nervous. Fire. The timbers of the manor house have already witnessed one fire in 1977, and they did not come out of it well. This Tudor staircase was not touched, but much of the wing built by the cider maker Southgate was charred beyond repair. Collections of beetles, butterflies, taxidermy animals and birds also went up in flames. I watched the firemen from on top of the church as they battled to stop the spread. Such a relief that it was contained and sparks did not ignite my long gallery. It took many months of replacing ceilings and floors, windows and furnishings before the museum could open again. Luckily, the museum had built these smart, large storerooms only 3 years before, making it easier to keep precious objects safe whilst rebuilding. If you ever get the chance, do look inside the museum stores. They're full of wonderful things. I think the museum people... Did I mention how much I enjoy their company? Take tours occasionally. And now to our final destination, the Golden Wing, wrapped around the east side in 2012. Some love it and some hate it, as often happens when the old and new are put together. But I have watched the new replace or add to the old for centuries. The manor house rising from the ground in the reign of Elizabeth I, the estate lands being separated from the manor, the gradual decline in power and wealth, and industry taking over the buildings, then the wonderful transformation into the museum today. I am content that this new Golden Wing gives more space for wonderful things to be shown, and more opportunity for me to be amongst the people of Maidstone. Things will change again, no doubt, and I will be here, watching.